All right, good morning everybody. Well, it's morning time here in the USA. Probably get some people from across the pond watching since I'm kind of early today. It's 10:15 Central Time, 11:15 Eastern Time in the United States, so it's probably about 4 o'clock in the afternoon in the UK, in that area over there. Anyways, I was going to do this is my Nikon live show, and I do this about once a month, and I'm probably going to start doing it more often. I've got some things planned for the rest of this year and into 2026, so stay tuned to the channel for some more interesting live shows. But this one here is my monthly gear pricing review, and there's been some developments this month, and we're going to go over some things. We're going to go over the wholesale prices if you're thinking of selling your camera gear. We're going to go over the used prices if you're thinking about buying used gear, and we're going to go over new prices, and we'll compare those with the B&H website. So we're going to dig right into it, and I do want to remind y'all that are on the channel, okay, if you're watching the video, the live stream, give it a thumbs up, like, so YouTube will feed that out to more people. And if you want to keep up with more of what I'm doing with these shows and my photography, subscribe to the channel, okay? So we're going to dig right into it, and the first thing I'm going to do is jump right in and show you what I have found out about wholesale pricing and new pricing and used pricing since last month. So this is my spreadsheet, and those of you who watched the show before will know, but if you haven't watched the show before, in the description of this live stream is a link to this sheet. If you want to download it, it's a PDF file. You can download it from my Google Drive. I make it available to you every month that I do this. So I do have that in there, and while you're in the description, you'll see a link in there. Okay. Let's see what's going on here. Hold on one second. Let's see here. I was trying to bring the chat box up on my computer, and for some reason it wants me to log back into YouTube. I don't know why, and it's just grinding away. Anyways, I'm getting ready. I use Firefox as a browser. I'm getting ready to change over this year. I'm not going to use Firefox anymore. I've been having some issues with it, so I'm going to go ahead and jump ship and go over to Google Chrome, which I think will be a better thing. Anyways, that's one reason why these boxes are missing on the left-hand side this morning, is Firefox decided not to show those boxes today for some reason. So we have a whole well, not 4 months, but all the way back from August the 14th in this first area, September the 2nd, November the 7th, and now we're at December the 5th, okay? This will be the last one for this year. And I'm going to tell you my observations here. First off, we're going to talk about new prices first. The DSLR bodies that I track are the ones that are currently still in production. That would be the D850, the D780, the D7500. Those ones are still in production, okay? Let me get this, here we go. No, Doug, I did not forget any gear in Gates Cove. Thank you, though. I was very careful. Every time I went somewhere or left an area, I walked around the truck, okay, more than once, okay? So yeah, but good morning to you, Doug. Anyways, I also track the D500 out of sentimental reasons, okay? And mainly just the used prices and what they're bringing wholesale. So let's just start out. There's no changes in new pricing since November for the D850, the D780, or the D7500. The D850 new is $1996. And the D780 is $1546, and the D7500 is $796. If you go over to look at the used prices for those DSLRs, the D850s are selling used for or you can buy a used one, I'm sorry. You can buy a used one for $1749. So I wouldn't do that. I mean, for $150 more, you can get a brand new one. The D780, look how close the price is between MPB's used prices and a new one. It's $50. it doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not sure how MPB adjusts their pricing and stuff. The B&H prices have been going on since the 1st of November, and I think if you recall my previous live stream about these prices, I did mention in there that MPB may not have adjusted their prices yet. Well, they look like they have, and they look like they've gone up, okay, on their used gear. If you want to buy a D500 used from MPB, it's $924. Now, just so you know, I price everything on MPB as if it was excellent condition, okay? The same with the selling. I picked the highest one they got. If they got an excellent body, I picked that. So you adjust accordingly to the condition of the camera you might be selling or the camera you might be acquiring. So I'll give you an example. I've been looking at some used gear locally on Facebook Marketplace, and I've noticed a lot of prices out there, and I've been looking closely at the prices that people are selling for. And they are a little bit out of line, okay? I think they're using the MPB pricing for how much you would pay for used gear. But when you look at how much MPB will give you for that gear, that's the wholesale price. I consider anything between the wholesale price that MPB offers and the used price that MPB offers a good zone to be in. Some of these people are way out of the zone. Okay, like a Z6 II body only for like $1,600. Anyways, so you know the used prices are on there from MPB. You can get a D7500 used from MPB for $709. That's in excellent condition now. And then of course the D500 you can purchase for $924. If you were wanting to sell your gear, and I think more of us sell than we buy, if you want to sell your gear, I may be wrong about that because I buy used gear too. The D500 or the D850, excuse me, would sell for $1,100. That's in excellent condition. A D780, you can sell it for $915, and the D7500 are going to give you $410. And then the D500, if it's in excellent condition, which none of them really are because of the high shutter counts on some of those bodies, you know, they're giving you $575 for that body. In my opinion, guys, if I had any of these bodies, I would not sell them, okay? I would keep them, all right? I kicked myself in the butt, you know, several times a month. You know, I sold my D7500. I still have my D500, but I sold my D7500, you know, jumped ship, went to mirrorless. And recently in YouTube, there's been a lot of videos being fed to me that, that are about going back to DSLRs, going away from mirrorless, okay? And I find it pretty amazing to listen to those videos. And the guys that are putting those videos out there, they make a lot of sense, okay? You know, I think we were all fed a line at one time, and you know, mirrorless is going to be lighter. Well, I don't think it's lighter. I mean, I got a Z8 with a 180-600, and I can do the same thing that rig does, actually better, with a D500 and a 500 PF, okay? So in the Z8 180-600 combo is heavier than the D500 and the 500 PF. So, you know, I kind of get it, okay? If you got these bodies, I would hold on to them. I would not get rid of them, okay? Let's move on. The Z9, Z8, the Z6 III, and the ZF and the Z7 II have not changed prices since last month. A new Z9 will run you $51.96. A new Z8 will run you $34.96. A new Z6 III will run you $2,089. A ZF is $18.96, and a Z7 II is also $18.96. If you're wanting to buy a used one, you can find a Z9 at MPB for $38.49, a Z8 for $32.49. You know, there was a time when the Z8 brand new was $3,300. Y'all remember that? I do. You could get a Z6 III used. Now look at this, guys. A used, this is funny as heck. A used Z6 III is $2169. A new one is $2089. Almost $70 cheaper for a brand new one. Sometimes I don't get that. What that pricing is, okay? And then a Z7 II, which you can still purchase, okay, is $1896. And if you want to buy it used, it's $1819. Why would you buy a used one for $50 less when you can have a brand new one for $50 more? I just buy the brand new one if I was looking for a Z7 II. The Z7 II is a high megapixel Z body versus the Z6 II, which was not. So yeah, the Z7 has been discontinued, and the Z6 has been discontinued. I don't even think you can buy a new one right now. You might be able to find one someplace like Adorama or someplace like that, but B&H doesn't have any on their website. A brand new Z6 II is $1646. But listen here, I want you to stay tuned to this show, because when we get done with this, we're going to go in and look at the refurbished sale that hit today from Nikon. And I just got an email about that today. And that's what sparked this show, was when I got that email, I said, you know what, I need to get on here and do this show, because the refurbished sale is only good for 4 days. So you can look there, the prices have pretty much stayed the same for new, okay? The Z5 II is $1596. The Z5, you can still buy a Z5 for $996. And the Z50 Mark II DX is $1,006, which is a great, great little crop sensor camera. I have been enjoying that Z50 Mark II with the 100 to 400 f4.5 to 5.6. And that's a new lens for me. I just purchased it a couple of weeks ago from a guy on Facebook Marketplace for a used price. I gave $2,000 for it. He wanted $2,100. And Phil and I talked, Phil Thatch and I talked on text message, and Phil said, offer him $1,800. So I did, and the guy said, no, $2,000. So I got him down $100. But a new one is about, I don't know what the new ones are. The new ones are $24.96. They're on the list. So I saved $500. It was mint. Came with the box, the manuals, everything, the hood, everything was like brand new. He barely had used it. And he was an older gentleman like me. He bought it to shoot basketball games or sports. And for whatever reason, he switched off and went to the 180 to 600. I don't know why. I wouldn't have used that for basketball games. That's a big lens for that. Anyways, if you want to buy used, there are some deals out there, but not many, okay? Like I said, when I get done with the show, download this sheet. You look at it for yourself for the month of December. You're going to see the comparisons that I'm talking about. The used prices are a little bit out of hand right now. And, you know, they're not giving you nothing for these camera bodies. Now, I will tell you this. The Z7 II, they're offering you $1225 for that camera body if it's excellent condition. A friend of mine just sold his Z7 II about 2 or 3 months ago to buy a Z8. He only got $1,000 for it. So the price has gone up. So if you go all the way back, to the September column, we're way over here, and look at the used price look at what MPB was offering for a Z7 II. They were offering $975 back in September or August. Now they're offering $1225. So the price has gone up, okay, for what they're giving you for used gear. But in addition to that, the price that they're selling it for has gone up. For example, let's see. No, not much. I was just looking at that. They were selling the Z7 II used back in August for $1569, and they're selling it used now for $1819. So anyways, you can download the sheet and check it out for yourself and see what they're doing. We're going to go through the lenses in just 1 minute. Let me get caught up here on these comments. Yeah, I read that one real quick. Yeah, Garrick would like to have another D850. You know, Garrick, I was really surprised that you bought a Fuji. I really thought that you would jump off and buy a a Nikon Z50 Mark II for your street photography. So I was really surprised to hear. I mean, I'm glad for you, but I just was really surprised. I thought you would have bought a Nikon Z50 Mark II or something. I tell you what I like for street photography myself, and I do have the Z50 Mark II, but in the kit lens, the 16 to 50. But what I really like the most for street photography personally is my Z6 II with the 50mm 1.8S lens on it. That is just a great lens, a great camera. The body's just a little bit bigger than a Z50 Mark II, but it's real easy to fling around. It's not so big and bulky like a Z8, so yeah. Kevin, I wouldn't get rid of none of that gear, okay? You know, the D780 is a hybrid, and it does really, I mean, I think it does, you tell me, it does really good with video, okay? Because it's when you're in live view, it's like a mirrorless camera, okay? And then it's like a DSLR when you're not in live view. I had one of those in my hand for a while. It was a pretty cool camera. I was really impressed with it. Phil, if you want pot roast, I'll bring you some tomorrow. Here's a spoiler alert for you. I'll be in your vicinity tomorrow and Wednesday. Greg Wilson. Hey Greg, how you doing? How's it doing out there? What time is it where you're at? It's probably about, what, 7:30 or so? I still have all my Nikon cameras and lenses. Well, that's good for you. Keep them. Don't get rid of them. My suggestion is you keep them, okay? Yes, Phil. Phil's correct. It's always a good idea to compare prices between MPB and new, as you have done here. They are often too close for used to make sense. He's exactly right. I'm showing that to you right now in this here. Now, I'm going to tell you something. It takes me about 2 hours to compile this spreadsheet. I mean, I got to go. I'll tell you what I got to do. I got to go to the B&H site, and I got to search every single one, and then put the prices in the spreadsheet. Then when I'm done, I have to go over to MPB and pretend like I'm going to buy one of these, okay, and get the prices for each one. And then to get the selling prices, I got to create a quote and fake them out that I'm going to sell all this gear. I mean, when I put all that gear in there for the camera bodies, it was like, I forget what it was, like $27,000, something like that. And then I don't save the quote. I got like the very first item in the quote just sits there, and those quotes only stay good for about 4 or 5 days, and then they delete them. So I kind of just have that quote sitting there, and I go in and tweak it and play with it all the time, looking at prices of things, and I don't save it, okay? And they'll send you an email saying, hey, your quote's in there, blah, blah, this, but that is really the only way I have found that I can find out what MPB is offering wholesale for your camera gear. Yeah, Woody's getting some snow up there, I heard. Yeah, he messaged me this morning. Good morning, Woody. You can keep it right up there, too. Yeah, so Kevin says the D780 does great with focus in video and live view, okay? So it's 8:30 where Greg is, so he's about 2 hours behind us. Greg's in California, so we got people joining us from all over the place, okay? Anyways, let's move on. I think the biggest changes this month were in the lens department. Back to the same scenario, all the new pricing for the lenses stayed the same. They did not change, okay? So we're going to look at the 100 to 400, 4.5 to 5.6 VR. A new one is $24.96, used is $21.39, and they're going to give you $1,480 for one if you want to sell it. So there's another example of used being close to new, but I got mine for less than $21.39, and that's what we were kind of judging my offer on when Phil was helping me with that. So I think he was wanting $2,100, and we tried to get him down to $1,800. He wouldn't bite on it, but I bought it anyways. The Nikon 180 to 600, I have one of those. Brand new is $19.96. It has not changed. If you here we go. If you want to buy a used one, $18.29. So you're talking about what, $170, $160, and they'll give you $1,240 if you want to sell it to them. The 600 PF, Phil's favorite lens, okay. You can buy it new, the 600 PF, for $39.96. You want to buy it used from MPB? They're going to charge you $3 more. They're going to charge you $39.99. So there you go. That's what Phil was just saying in the comments. It doesn't make any sense to buy used. I'm not sure what's going on here. I really ain't. I don't know if it's a holiday thing or what, but I've never seen the used prices so close to new prices before. Maybe they know something we don't know, okay? MPB is not only in the United States, they also are in the UK. They are also in England. So I'm sure they got some European customers too. I'm not too sure how that works out. When you sell gear in the US, do they ship it over to England and sell it, or what they do? Now they're going to give you $2,340 for that 600 PF. So if somebody is selling one of these on Marketplace and it's in mint condition, excellent condition, and they're trying to sell it between $2,300 and $4,000, split the difference, you know. Phil, what would you say it would be worth, a used one? Would you, $2,800, $2,900, $3,000? Would that be about a fair price for one? Being that MPB wants to wholesale it to you for $2,340. The old Nikon 70-200, not the old one, I'm sorry, this is the Z mount, 2.8 VR. Brand new is $28.96. That has gone up significantly, okay? There for a while, at the beginning of the year, you could have bought that lens for about $2,000. So it's jumped right back up there. They had it on sale for a while this spring. In fact, if we go back and look, in August, it was $22.96, almost $600 cheaper. So if you wanted to buy one, that would have been the time to do it. MPB's used price is, if you want to buy a used one, it's $23.39, and they're going to wholesale that thing for $1,620. We're going to move right on down the line. The 24-120 is a real surprise. Brand new is $996 right now. It was as high as $1146 back in September, but now it's back down to $996 at B&H. And the used price, if you want to buy a used one, it's $959, $40 difference. What would you do? Buy new, I guess. And here's the real killer. They're only going to give you $320 for that thing if you want to sell it. That is ridiculous, okay? I mean, that's a big spread right there. Almost $600 between what they're selling it for used and what they're going to give you for it. Anyways, the Nikon 14-30 f4 sells for $10.96. It was as high as $13.96 back in September. So right now it's $10.96 right now. If you want to buy a used one, it's $9.19. And if you want to sell one, they're only going to give you $515. Let's see, I'm on the wrong line here. Where am I at? Oh, I missed one. Okay. Let me back up a second. I kind of messed up there. The Nikon 28-400, my friend out at Folk Art and Camera in the Pacific Northwest, he loves that lens. You can buy it new for $1146. It's down $300 from September. And if you want to buy a used one, it's $984, and then they're going to give you $625 for it if you want to sell it. So we can go right on down the list. Let's skip down to the Nikon 50mm 1.8. Brand new right now is $466. That's a pretty good price. It was $466 last month also. If you want to buy a used one from MPB, $469. It's actually more money for the used one than it is for the new one. And then if you want to sell one, $275 all they're going to give you, okay, for a 50mm 1.8. I would not sell that lens if you had it. I really wouldn't. I really love my 50mm 1.8S, okay. I know David Sailors has one that he uses on his ZF. I am sure Phil has one that he uses on his camera bodies. Let me catch up here. No, Garrick, the Z50 Mark II is not full frame. If you're wanting full frame, yeah. The only thing the Z50 Mark II lacks that I wish they would have changed, okay, is it does not have in-body stabilization. So you got to be careful what lenses you use on it. Make sure you get VR lenses to use on it. The 16-50 kit lens is VR. The 55-200 kit lens is VR. Most of those lenses are selling the Z crop sensor DX lenses. The crop sensor lenses made for the Z mount are VR, okay. Now, if you want to use the 24 to 120 on there, it's not VR. The 24 to 120 is not VR. The 14 to 30 is not VR. So, you know, you just kind of have to use your head on that. So yeah, it's not full frame, Garrick, it's crop sensor. Yeah, so Greg says she could pick up a refurbished 600 TC for almost $11,200. More money than I got. Phil, I bought my 180 to 600 the same time that you bought yours almost, and paid only $16.99 for it. Okay, I've had it for probably about 2 years now, I think, is about how long I've had it. Thank you, Phil. Phil says MPB is not counting on people not doing their research like you're doing. This is a great service you're providing here. Yeah, it kind of opens up and gets you to kind of think about things, especially if you're a gearhead or a gear nerd. Okay, that was a jab at Phil. Phil calls him. He's got a little thing on his video there. I think, what is it, camera nerd you put on your videos now? Love you, Phil, mean it. Phil said he uses 51.8 for live music. Saturday night worked great. It does. It's a great lens. I love it. It's a nice little lens, okay? Hey, Joe, how's it going this morning down in Alabama? Joe says, I've only bought a couple of lenses. Camera nerd. Okay, Phil, I got it. Joe says, I've only bought a couple of lenses to use with the ZR. I'm still primarily a Canon guy. The price on the 24 to 120 is $50 less than what I paid on sale. Yeah, so the 24 to 120, which I think is a great lens also for landscape opportunities, is new as $996, okay? And you won't find many used ones like on Facebook Marketplace. I have never seen one show up on Facebook Marketplace like that. That is a good lens. So if you got a full frame Z body, a Z8, Z6 II, Z7 II, any of those bodies that are full frame ZF, then, you know, a 50 millimeter, a 14 to 30 f4, and a 24 to 120 f4 would be your basic, I would consider your basic kit if you're going to do that. And then if you have a little extra money, I would spring for the 100 to 400, 4.5 to 5.6, okay? Because that's about all you need. Now, if you're a dedicated bird photographer or really, you know, small mammal type photography where you can't get in close to them and stuff, then you're going to have something more powerful. The 500 PF on the D500 has a equivalency of 750 millimeters. So to do the same thing on a full frame, you're going to have a 600 or an 800 PF lens, okay, to do that. So you got to look at that, or buy the 180 to 600 and live with that. You know, the 180 to 600 has a constant aperture of f6.3, but here's a pro tip for you, and I learned this from Phil. The sharpest aperture on the 180 to 600 is actually f8. Okay, you would think it would be the f6.3. If you have the 500 PF, the sharpest aperture on it, and what everybody shoots it at, is 5.6. That's the constant aperture of that lens. The same with the 200 to 500 Nikon zoom lens. If you have one of those, f5.6 is the sharpest point of that. So, you know, the natural progression with people who had the D500, they would start with the D500, and they were looking for a lens to go on that, so they could afford at that time, back in 2021, 2022, you could buy the 200 to 500, which was a great lens. The only problem was it zoomed out pretty far and became very long, almost as long as the 180 to 600 is now. But it was a very sharp lens, and here was the biggest thing about that lens. It only cost, like brand new, it was like $1,200. And you could, your next progression from that would have been buying a 500 PF, which at the same time they were selling the 200 to 500, was like $3,500. So that's my progression. I bought the D500 first to replace my D7500, and then I bought the 200 to 500 zoom lens and used it for a while, and realized that I was taking most of my photographs at 500 millimeters. I said, well, you know what? I ought to just get the 500 PF because number one, it's shorter, it's lighter, it's better weather sealing, it's just a better lens all the way around. So that's what I did. I bought the 500 PF and I sold the 200 to 500. So that's your natural progression if you're doing like a D500 type of stuff. And you know that 500 PF still works on everything today. It still works on the Z8, the Z50 Mark II, the Z6 Mark II, the D500, the D7500, the D7000 series, any of those camera bodies. That 500 PF performs stellar. Okay, there's a word. That's David Saylor's word, stellar. $3,000 would be a steal on that 600 PF for sure. Yeah, if you could find one. Woody says, I noticed Peter Gregg sells a lot of his gear on Facebook Marketplace. Does anyone here do that? I have. I've sold it on Facebook Marketplace, but you got to be smart. I do not ship. I only meet in person, and I only take cash, and I meet in a public place. So I'll meet them at Walmart, not Walmart. I'll meet them up the road at McDonald's. I may even, if it's a reputable Facebook person, I check them out on Facebook first. If it's a reputable Facebook person, I may even drive as far as 25 miles down the Harriman to meet them. And I've done that. I've sold a tripod that way. I've sold several things that way and kind of met them halfway. They might live over, 50, 60 miles from me. So I'll split the difference with you. I'll meet you down in Harriman or something. And it's just a 25-minute drive for me. So yeah, I sold stuff on Marketplace. In fact, I'm looking at a lens right now on Marketplace that I'm really thinking about buying. Let's see. Okay, Gary, have fun. I think. If you're working, then it's not fun. We'll see you later, okay? Phil says he's not shooting till Thursday, okay. And then hello, we got a new guy here. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, but the last numbers on his name is 4342. Tell us who you are and tell us where you're from. I'm very interested to hear that, okay? Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the live stream. Anyways, let's continue on with the lenses. And here's the one, I've always salivated on this one here, the Nikon 20mm f1.8. You can buy it new for $1046 or used for $874. And if you want to sell one, they're going to give you $465 for it. He wants me to tell him about light painting photography. I don't know. I use a flashlight when I light paint. We'll get to that in a minute. If you have a Nikon 500 PF, okay, back in August, the new price, here's the killer here. They have not changed the price of that lens, ever. Not even through the September price increases for the tariffs. The original price and the price still today is $35.97, and I believe that's what I paid for mine back in 2022, I think is when I bought mine. And there for a while you couldn't find any used ones, okay? But there are some used ones that have popped up now. So like right now, a new one is still $35.97. Let me get back to the screen here for you. Sorry about that. The new one is $35.97. If you want to buy a used one from MPB, they are $21.19. And if you want to sell one, they'll give you $1,260 for it. So, if you were looking for a used one and you found one on Facebook Marketplace or local to you or in a camera shop somewhere, you could come here and compare this and say, okay, if I have to sell it, if I had to sell one to MPB, they're going to wholesale that thing for $1,260. And if they're going to turn around and sell it for $2,120. So you got almost a $900 difference there to play with. So you got a negotiating tool here, okay? You can say, okay, I can buy one from MPB for $2,120 in excellent condition. So, maybe I'll offer this guy $1,500 for one, okay? Kind of split the difference with him a little bit. You can go lowball and try to offer him what MPB does. Eventually, if somebody has a lens or a camera body on Marketplace for sale and they need money, eventually, and nobody buys it from them, eventually they're going to sell it to either MPB or KEH or one of those, Use Photo Pro. And they're all going to give them about the same amount of money, about $1,200 for that lens. So you got a negotiating tool. And there will be somebody that comes up on their, on their Facebook page and offer them what they're wanting for it, okay? Like me. I mean, I got $100 off from that 100 to 400 lens, but at least I got something off of it. But I wanted the lens, and I didn't want to pay for a new one. Nikon 16 to 35, they're still making that lens. It's a full frame f4 lens. Brand new is $1546. It's pretty much held its price through the year. If you want to buy a used one, it's $824. Now there's a good bargain. Brand new, $1546. Used, $824. So if you was looking for one of those lenses, $824. And MPB is wholesale on those for $510. Now that is to me, that lens right there, first off, that's a full frame staple. If you're a landscape photographer, you got a full frame DSLR, a lot of people shoot with that 16 to 35 f4. It's a big heavy lens. I had one for a while and used it. It is a heavy lens, but it's a nice piece of glass, okay? It's excellent, does excellent picture quality. I still got hundreds of photographs in my Lightroom catalog that were done with a D610 and a 16 to 35 f4. Okay, wonderful photographs. But here's what I'm saying. The pricing for this, $1546 new, $824 for a used one, and they're wholesaling it for $510. Well, that to me is a reasonable price spread, okay? You know, you're talking about $300 between the wholesale they're going to give and what they're going to charge for it. That's a reasonable price, okay? The Nikon 200 to 500, here we go. New, it's now $1546. Several years ago, I told you I bought mine for about $1,200. Might have been $1,296. They're now $1546, and did I say $1546? Man, I got my lines messed up. Hold on a minute. Man, I misspoke on the 16 to 35. Let me back up to the 16 to 35. I kind of messed up on all that. Brand new is $1096. If you want to buy a used one, $449. And they are wholesaling it for $225. That still is a good price range across there. So, you know, if you want a brand new one, you can pay $1096 for one, or you can buy a used excellent one for $449. To me, that is a win, okay? If I was looking for one of those lenses, I would buy the used. The same goes for the 200 to 500. That's the one I misquoted. Brand new is $1546. And used is $824, and if you got one to sell, it's $510. Now, I've seen a few of those lenses on Facebook Marketplace just today, and they're asking $800 for them. So they're asking about what MPB is asking, okay? So still, if you were wanting one and somebody was asking $800 for one versus $1546 brand new, I would buy the used one if it was me. Let's move on down. The 70 to 200 FL ED-VR, which is the last line of F-mount 70 to 200s that are left out there that they're still selling. You can buy a brand new one, get this, $2,546. That is a lot of lens. Back in August, you could have bought one for $1996. They were actually on sale, okay? Last October, they were actually on sale last October. You could have bought one cheaper. Now it's $25.46. If you want to buy a used one, it's $14.29, and if you're selling one, then MPB is going to give you $890 for one. The 70 to 200 f2.8 VR number 2, okay, which has been discontinued. You cannot buy that new anymore. If you want to buy a used one, you can get one for $919. And if you want to sell it, it's $625. The Nikon 12 to 24 f4 DX lens, which was a staple lens for the D7500 and the D500, is a great landscape lens. If you've never owned one, I love that lens. I had one myself. Currently, new prices are actually come down a little bit. The new prices are $846, which tells me I've seen a slow decline here in pricing since September or August. $1146 down to $946 down to $846. It's a very big possibility they may be discontinuing that lens, okay? It would not make a lot of sense without discontinuing the D7500 body. And that is confusing to me, folks. I don't understand why they're still producing those bodies. If you got the answer to that, those DSLRs, the 850, the 780, and the 7500, they're still making those. If you could explain that to me, I would love to hear your answer to that. New, the 12 to 24 is $848, but if you want to buy a used one, this is a bargain. $179, excellent condition from MPB. And if you want to sell one, they're going to give you a measly $84. Keep the damn lens. Don't give it to them. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. Do your homework. Okay. Look at the sheet and do the. I've done all the work for you. All you got to do is print this sheet out and do the comparison. Now there might be some bodies on there. I don't do Canon. I don't do Sony and all that. But you know, there might be some stuff on there that maybe I should be tracking. And if that's the case, leave me a comment in the description in the video and tell me, hey Ron, you should be maybe put this body in there, maybe take this body out. I've got a few of them I'm thinking of removing, like the Z7 and the Z6. There's no sense in tracking those except for the used prices if you're wanting to sell one. I don't know too many people that I'm around that still have a Z6 or a Z7. They do have the Z6 IIs and the Z7 IIs, but I don't know. I think Phil has a Z6, okay? I think he's got one left. Let me catch up. Well, Joe, I don't think I ever sold camera gear in the newspaper want ads. I don't think I did, okay? Sometimes I'd sell it by word of mouth, okay? I hung around a lot of different photographers. I'm not sure about the light painting thing, Mr. 4342. I'll try to answer that when I get done with this pricing stuff. Yeah, well, look, I talked to a guy the other day, and he was an elderly gentleman, a lot older than me, at a ceremony downtown, and he saw my. He asked me about what I was doing, and I was actually photographing the ceremony, and he was telling me about all this Nikon gear he had and didn't know what to do with, and I was like, why don't you invite me to your house? I love to go through stuff like that. I love just let's go to his house and see what he's got. Okay. Yeah, Phil got his 16 to 35 f mount from Murphy's Camera for a crazy low price, under $500. Hey Phil, did they charge you shipping on that? Because I bought a used camera body from them one time and they charged me shipping for that, and they were really reluctant to sell me that over the phone with my credit card. Okay. Yeah. Doug, I'm going to tell you something, okay? This is my honest opinion. I don't think we're going to ever see a D500 replacement. I don't think so. The Z9 II is in the pipe. It's reportedly going to come out next year. We don't know what that's going to look like. I was watching Grays of Westminster Friday, and they were talking about the Nikons, okay, not the Nikons, the Nikons. They were talking about what Nikon was going to be probably doing next, going forward, and instead of introducing brand new numbers like, you know, what would be the next iteration, a Z3 or a Z10 or whatever, they would just continue on with their numbering, like, you know, we had the Z50 and the Z50 Mark II, we had the Z6 and Z7, Z6 II, Z7 II, you know, it goes on and on. And now we're going to have apparently we're going to have the Z9 II in 2026. Okay, we're going to look at Nikon rumors when I get done here. Yeah, they charge shipping, but no tax to me too, Phil, when I bought, I forget what I bought from them, but I bought something used from them. They have a pretty good used list, and I would tend to think that buying used from them would be a little bit better than buying used from MPB, because those used equipment they have, I'm sure, was trade-ins in their store, okay, not, you know, passed off between 2 or 3 different hands or what have you. Just for good luck, I'm going to tell you the Nikon F-mount 105 f2.8 VR macro lens has been discontinued. If you want to buy a used one, you can buy them for $489. I've seen some used ones on Marketplace for around $500, $475, so that's pretty in line with what you could buy from MPB. If you want to sell one, they're only going to give you $205 for it, okay? I put a couple Viltrox lenses in here. The prices haven't changed for those because I always kind of look at those lenses. I think I'm kind of intrigued by the aftermarket lens companies that are out there. So, you know, the 16 millimeter 1.8 is $580. The 20 millimeter f2.8 Viltrox is $176, and the 27 millimeter crop sensor f1.2 is $578, which I think is a little bit high for a Viltrox lens for a crop sensor body myself, $578. But that's just my opinion, okay? Anyways, if you want a copy of this, go into the description of the video, download it. It's on my Google Drive. Have fun with it. If you want the raw spreadsheet file so you can play with numbers yourself, send me an email. The email is in my channel. You can find it under the channel description. That's where my email is. But actually, I'll put it on here because it doesn't really matter. It's photoafterhours@gmail.com. That's photoafterhours@gmail.com. Okay, we're going to move on, and I'm going to change gears here. And what we're going to do now is, let me do that real quick. What we're going to do now is we're going to look at what Nikon has for us in the refurbished sale. So the refurbished sale came out today. This is the email I got from them, and it's for 4 days only. It expires on December the 11th, which is actually Friday. Okay. Now, if you have never done this before, I have bought and refurbished from Nikon, and when it got here to my house and I had it in my hands, it was like brand spanking new. So I would not hesitate to buy a refurbished from Nikon. In fact, I would buy a refurbished from Nikon before I bought used from anybody else. Okay, so let's look at this. The first one right off the bat, just kind of wow, a Z6 II 24-70 f4 kit for $15.99. That is a bargain, because the Z6 II new price, what was that new price? I done closed that up. Let me see if I can pull that back up again. The Z6 new price is $1646 at B&H. So if you want to buy, and this has got a lens, so you want to buy a refurbished Z6 II with a 24-70, here it is, folks. $650 off. That is a bargain. But look here, a Z6 II body only is $999. That's $650 off of new price. So if you're looking for something like that, it's time to pick one up, okay? If you're moving from DSLRs, full frame, or you're going from a crop sensor like a D7500 or something like that, or a D5000 even, and you want to get into mirrorless, that is a good deal, okay? Because the 24-70 is a very versatile lens. It's an f4 lens. It's good for a lot of things. Good for landscapes. It's good for people. It's good for travel photography. It's just a great all-around lens, and they've had it in kit form like that for a long time. Look at that, $15.99. Then they go on down here. They got Z5s. If you want a Z5, they got a Z5 kit for $849, and then a Z5 body only for $459. So if you're looking for a second body as a backup or something to a Z8 or a Z6 II or something like that, then it's not high megapixel, but it is full frame. ZFC, I never was a ZFC fan. I know Phil had one for a while. I don't think he was really a big fan of it either. It's $800 for the 28mm kit. So I guess if you're wanting to get into like street photography, hint, hint, Garrick, you could have picked up a ZFC with a 28mm lens on it, okay, for $800. The Z30, I'm not a fan of it either because it doesn't have a electronic viewfinder on it, and I got to have a viewfinder. I cannot deal with this holding the camera up and looking at it like that. They have it in a 16-50 and a 15-250 kit combined for $700. Not a bad price refurbished. The Z30 16-50, only, the body only. If you want to pick up one, that's not bad. $380 for a little crop sensor body. So if you want to do like studio video and you weren't going to like do much else, that would be maybe a good body to pick up just for a studio camera, okay? I mean, if you go buy a Pocket 3 to do video like I'm doing now, I'm broadcasting on my Pocket 3, or even the Osmo Action 4, which also will do webcamming, you're gonna spend more than $400 to get the Pocket 3. So if you're just doing video and you're trying to do like webcam stuff and all that, that would be a good body to pick up, a Z30. Z50, not the Z52, but a Z50 total kit with the 16-50 and the 50-250 is $650, and just the Z50 with the 16-50 is $500. And then if you just want the body only, it's $400. This is not a bad buy. This D7500 refurbished. It's $549. They put that on refurbished quite frequently through the year. I've seen it several times, and it's always piqued my interest because I owned one of those cameras and I love that camera. When I go back through my Lightroom catalog and look at that, the majority of my landscape photography was done, my hiking and all that was done back in 2018, 2019, and the majority of my landscape photographs that are my favorites were shot with that camera and the 12-24 f4 lens. They have a Coolpix 950, nothing I would consider. If you want to buy a used 24-70, or refurbished, I'm sorry, 24-70 f2.8, you can pick one up for $1,400, not bad. And they have a 24-50 Z lens, f4-6.3. I'm not too sure where that lens would fit into my kit. Okay, 24-50. I already got the 24-120 and the 14-30. I don't think I would have a use for this lens, but if you were looking for something like this, it would be $330. And then you have the Nikon 24-70 f2.8e EDVR f mount lens. It's $850 for one of those. And that can be adapted, since it's AFS, it can be adapted to the Z mount. This is going to be a big piece of glass sticking out there. Look how big that lens is. It's pretty good size. See how big that thing is? And they have a F mount 18-140, which was the kit lens for the D7500 when it first came out. So, you know, if you wanted to get into a D7500 with a lens, then the 18-140 was a fairly good lens. They're selling it, look, wow, $520 off of new price. You can buy this lens for $130. I wish that was a Z-mount lens instead of an F-mount, because I would buy it if it was a Z-mount lens. They have a Z-mount 18-135 power zoom that's out there, and it's about $1,000, I think. But if you would want to get into, move out of the D3000 series or the D5000 series and get into a more professional or prosumer type body that has a little more oomph to it, then I would consider picking up a refurbished D7500, which is right here at the top of the list, what I told you. Where'd it go? I passed it up here somewhere. Right there. $550 for that, for the D7500 body, and pick up the 18-140 lens for $130. So for less than $800 plus tax, you have a really nice replacement DSLR body. One that you would not sneeze at, one you could use on everything. Landscapes, travel, family, portraits, anything, pets, doesn't matter. That 18-140 is a very versatile lens, and it has VR, okay? It's not a constant aperture, it's f3.5 to 5.6, but that's nothing to sneeze at because that's a pretty good deal. Now let's go look at the other things that they have that are refurbished that are on 10% off, just to see if there's anything interesting over there. And we'll just kind of go down through here and look, see if anything kind of pops up. You know, what's amazing to me is, like, here is a 50mm 1.8D lens, okay, which would work on your D500. It would work on your D7500. It won't autofocus on the Z lenses, but it will work on the DSLRs. You can pick up one for $97. That's pretty good. This little 10-24 lens, well, I say little. It's always been an expensive lens. They've got it for $647. And let's move on down. There's a 500 PF right here, refurbished, $25.91. Okay, that's $1,000 cheaper than a brand spanking new one. Okay, let's see, what else have they got? D7500. Well, they got that kit right here. Let's have a look at that. I'm gonna click on that and see what options they're telling us. We'll hit buy now so we can see what's going on. Yeah, so if you want they don't show it with the lens. Yeah, here's the combo price with the 18-140. So it's $863 for that, okay? So you can go in and look at those combinations they have. And then what else are they selling in addition? Oops, I messed up here. Did I? No, I'm still there. The Z50 Mark II refurbished, you can get one of those for $655. That's pretty good because a brand new one's about $1,000. So if you're looking for a Z50 Mark II, there's a refurbished option right here. Let's go ahead and have a look at that real quick while I got you on here. Hit the buy now. You got to hit the buy now to see what they got. So the body, okay, the body only, no, I'm sorry, that doesn't seem right to me. Yeah, something's wrong there. There it is. The body, this body right here, the refurbished body, is $655. This one here with the 16-50 kit lens is $755, and if you want both lenses, it's $935. You know, if you already got Z lenses, you know, the 50mm, you know, the 24-120, any of those lenses will work with this, okay? So if you needed a second body, like I said, the only thing to me that's a drawback for the Z50 series is not having in-body stabilization. If they got the focus, man, you can do bird eye detect, the whole thing, okay, if you do the firmware upgrade. But the thing is, if they had done that, put that in-body stabilization in there, if they could do it, I don't even know if they can do it in a crop sensor. It would probably have to be a bigger body if they did. I don't know, to get those motors in there. But anyhow, it would be a better camera body. It would be one that they would sell a lot of. See, is there anything else here? There's a Z6 II refurbished. So you can go through the website here. I will put a link to this when I get done. It's not in there right now, but I'm looking through here now to see if anything. I was always looking at these, like this 24mm 1.7 lens for the DX body. That would be pretty cool to put on a Z50 Mark II. And being it's wide angle, you really don't need VR for wide angle. This lens right here, this 10-20 f mount right here, the AFP DX 10-20, if you don't have a wide angle lens for your D500 or your D7500, this is the lens to get. I have used this lens before. It takes a 72mm filter thread, which you can use big filters on it without any vignetting. Is a sharp lens. It has a variable aperture from f4.5 to 5.6. It does have VR. So you put this on the Z50 Mark II with the FTZ adapter so you can adapt it. You got a pretty good wide angle lens, okay, for that camera body. 10-20 is nothing to sneeze about. Let's see what else they got. Anything else interesting? Here you go, Phil. Here's a Z 600mm PF lens for $37.15 refurbished. So yeah, if you can find one for $3,000, you better grab it. That's what I think. Let me catch up on this. Yeah, when I bought the Z8, Phil said he would use his 24-70 more often if he didn't have his 24-120. When I bought my first Z6 body, my first Z6 II body was a body only, and I bought the 14-30 right away. The second Z6 II body I bought, when I had two bodies going with me, I picked up the kit with the 24-70. When I bought the Z8, I bought it in kit form with the 24-120. It was cheaper to do it that way. So I didn't need the 24-70 anymore because the 24-120 was redundant. So I sold the 24-70 with one of my Z6 II bodies. I only wanted to keep the one. I had the two Z6 bodies because that was the best bodies at the time, and I needed a backup body with me. Anyways, let's see what else. We'll just go through a few more things here. I'm going to skip off to something else. I'm not seeing anything that's really exciting. It's amazing how many, you know, F-mount glass that you can still buy out there. Okay, they haven't given up on it yet. Yeah. Well, I'm going to get off of this. Like I said, you can go through there and, you know, here's a good one here. The Nikon DX 12-24 f4. You could have bought it used, excellent condition from MPB for like $180. Nikon's going to give it to you for $650 refurbished. So you have to do the math on that, which one you want. Okay. They do have a 70-200 VR2, which you cannot buy new anymore. Here's a Z-mount 26mm 2.8. I've looked at some reviews on these wide pancake lenses for the Z mounts and the DX mounts. This is a full frame lens, this 26mm f2.8. But I've watched some videos on some of them, and I think there's some issues with sharpness on these pancake lenses for the Z mount. So you might want to check out some reviews if you're thinking about buying one. I have, and I've not been really impressed. So we're going to get off of that and get away from all that, and I don't need B&H. Now here's a pro tip for you. I want to show you this right here. This is on Amazon. These are Think Tank Red Whips bungee cable ties. I seen these on Hudson Henry's channel the other day. He had a Christmas special where he was talking about, you know, Christmas gifts and what have you. You could buy the photographer. You know, they all do those. But these right here caught my interest because I have this problem. Let me show you something, okay? I'm going to switch off real quick. I got a link to this in my in the description, but I want to show you something here, okay? Don't laugh at me, okay? This is my cable box, okay? I have all these cables in this box, and when I'm trying to find something, my God, you know, it's like, here's one. I'm gonna do it here so you can see it, okay? Here's one, here's one, here's one, there's another one, there's another one, and there's just cable after cable after cable in this. Look at them all, okay? I want you to look at all that. Well, they're just in there, okay? I don't have any wraps around them or anything, and like, what is this right here? This is a USB-A to lightning connector. I mean, I got 4 or 5 of those in here. How many do you actually need? But whenever I have an extra cable that I don't use, I throw it in this Walmart Sterilite tote. And here's a pro tip for you. I'm going to show you the front of this, okay? If you want to store things, you know, go to Walmart and get you some of these. They come with a lid. This is a 7-quart model. I have bigger ones too. And I have, like, this one here is for, it's you know, I got a label on top of it that says cables. But these cable wraps, okay, and I carry a bag. Let me show you this other bag real quick. I carry a gear bag. I actually have 2 of them, but I have one gear bag dedicated. I'm going to show you right now. I have one gear bag dedicated. Okay, this is it. It was $10 at Walmart. You can't buy them no more. They don't sell them. This is an Ozark Trails gear bag, and the little plastic. If you can see it in there, let me turn it so you can see it. There's a little plastic thing in there, and it fits in there perfectly. But this is the one that's a problem for me because I carry these cables to do recording. Now these have Velcro around them, okay, but I could use a better system. I even have a power brick in there. Can you see it? A power. Let me get it up there so you can see it. Get it in front of me here. This is my video bag, okay? I got a set of headphones in there. I carry a shotgun microphone in there. So when I'm going to go record a video presentation or something, I grab this bag. But having these bungee cords, okay, I seen those. I said, you know what? I got to get some of those. So they have them in a they're in a 12 pack for $14.75. And what was funny is Rick LePage, Hudson's sidekick, he said, well, you might as well get 2 because your wife's going to want some, okay? So I got 2 packages of these sitting in my cart on Amazon, okay? And I'm going to pick those up. But anyways, that's a pro tip I wanted to give to you. And let me see what else we got. We're going to cover one more thing before I get off, and we're going to cover the Nikon rumors. And I always kind of check this before I start a show. They got some teasers up here. There's a new release from 7 Artisans. It's supposed to be a new large aperture lens release. I don't know what that means, okay? I don't keep up with that. But look at this right here. A Nikon ZS rangefinder camera mock-up. Now this might be cool, okay? I know there's a resurgence in people wanting to use rangefinder cameras, okay? And it looks to me like something might be coming out here. This is a mock-up, and I guess this is Nikon rumors, okay? I don't know if there's anything to this. Let me see if there is. Just a picture, it's all they're showing us, okay? So I've heard some rumors about some kind of rangefinder camera coming out from Nikon, but I haven't heard too much about it. So anyways, there is some activity up there. Talking about the good old times with the Nikon. How many of you can remember this? I started out in film days in the 1970s. My first camera was one of these Nikon FTNs, okay? When I was about 16 years old. I bought one. I had a paper route. I saved up $300 It came with a 50 millimeter, and it wasn't even a very fast 50 millimeter, okay? But it came with I bought a 50 millimeter lens with it. It cost me about $300 back in 1974, 1975. I had that camera for 20 years, okay? It was a great film camera. It took a small battery, a small watch battery to run the light meter in it. And it was one of those kind of cameras where when you put the eyepiece up to your eye, if you wanted to focus it, it had the split prism in it. When you lined the prism up, you were in focus. That's how you focused it. So it was manual focus. And you can obviously see, you know, from the lenses they're showing on here, that it was, okay? I'm not too sure what they're showing here. This looks like a panorama camera. Or is it fake? I don't know if it's fake or not. That's kind of weird looking. Look how they did that. The left side eyepiece is visible, but the right side is not. It's a stereo camera is what it says. Huh, that's strange. I don't know who this company is, but they're coming out with some new lenses. I'm not too big on the aftermarket lenses. I know Phil reviews quite a few of them, and I always watch his reviews because I'm always interested in what Viltrox is putting out there. And another channel that does a lot of reviews is Adrian Alford Photography down in Australia. I watch his channel. He gets a video, comes out every Saturday. If you're not subscribed to either one of those channels, I'll put a link in the description when I get done where you can find those two channels. And they both do really good lens reviews, okay? So it's good to watch if you're going to do that. Okay, that is all I got for this show. I will tell you this, stay tuned to the channel. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed, because I've got some new things coming out. There'll be, I'll give you a teaser here. This Friday evening at 7 p.m., there'll be another show coming out, another Nikon show coming out, so you might want to stay tuned. I'll put I don't know if I'm going to live stream it or not. I might live stream it out of Zoom, but it's going to be a Zoom meeting with another photographer, and we're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff, okay? It's like a collaboration thing I'm doing, a one-on-one thing, and I'm trying to do some new stuff on the channel here to help you all out, okay? So listen, so you know who I am. My name is Ron Durant. I live in East Tennessee, the US of A, okay? And I am a photographer of over 40 years. And I really appreciate y'all being here on the live stream today, and we will talk to y'all later. Let me catch up on the chat real quick before I leave, because I hate to leave anybody hanging. I have been out there shooting. Didn't you see you got my Facebook page? My Instagram page? Maybe I should pull that up real quick. Let me do that real quick. Let me pull up my Facebook page so you guys can see where I am. This is my Facebook page. It's www.facebook.com/rdphoto3. And here's a photograph that I posted yesterday. Let me get rid of that. Here's a photograph I went out yesterday morning at before daylight and photographed this barn. And this is a cardinal from my backyard. So catch me on Facebook. I post on there. And then I also post on Instagram. Let me go ahead and pull that up for you. My Instagram profile is www.instagram.com/Ron Durant Photos. All one word, Ron Durant Photos. And there you go. And I post basically the same thing on here as I post on my Facebook page. I want to show you this photograph right here. This one right here. I love this photograph, okay? You're not going to believe this if I tell you this. This was taken with my iPhone and edited in a free program on my iPhone called Snapseed. Isn't it a great photograph? I think it turned out really well. Anyways, I do get out there and shoot. Just got to go find me. Let me catch up on the last couple comments. Thank you, Phil. We'll see you later. Melissa Park, how you doing? She said, I got the Minolta X700 in the 80s, still have and use and love shoot. The Minolta X700 was a great camera body. I had one for free that we got. They had a promotion. If we bought a Minolta copy machine, they gave you a free Minolta X700. And I actually had one of those for a while. It is really a good, thank you, Phil. It is really a good camera body. Okay, folks, we'll talk to y'all later. Okay, see you Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, or 7 p.m. Central Time for the next live stream. I think it's going to be a live stream.